You're live.
Welcome to BDcoded. We talk about sustainable ideas, and we are on the ARK City Radio. I'm Jaba, your host for the next 1 or 2 hours. We have BJ.
Good evening, all.
And as guests, we have Scott. Scott, can you hear us?
Yes, I can, Jaba. Good evening, all.
Good evening. Like I said, we're going to talk about sustainable ideas. That don't means Agenda 21. We're going to talk about different projects that Scott have in his mind, and I hope soon in action. And I think the best is you present yourself, Scott, a little bit from where you come, what you do, and who you are.
Right, okay. Yes, my name's Scott Northcott. I represent the QU, which is quintessentially for you, quality for you, everything we do for you, via the ARK Foundation, which is Architecture, Responsibility and Kudos. Prior to being involved in eco development, I'd been in telecoms and technology for probably about 10 years, and now exploring everything sustainable, renewable, green technology, the whole collaboration of those ideas.
From where does this come? Did you see in your previous activity, did you cross the issues that brings you to this kind of ideas?
Well, yeah, I'd kind of been in telecoms and technology, and I'd had enough after 10 years. So I wanted a change, and I kind of took a year out, did some traveling, went round, met different people with different ideas. Had originally gone into property and had been quite successful at that, but obviously with what happened in 2008 with the financial meltdown, it kind of made me reevaluate things. And there's a very sort of poignant quotation by Buckminster Fuller, which is to change reality, you have to create a new model that makes the old model obsolete. So I would say QU&ARK is very much a new model.
Like you write on your Skype, action will remove the doubt of theory.
Yeah, exactly. In 2008, I identified, qualified, quantified, rectified, and I'm continually verifying the people with the skills, resources, dynamic track record from professionals, academics, and they're quite expansive over the entire planet. And that could be from an inventor of a vertical access wind turbine, or somebody involved in biofuel technology, a different type of solar type technology, or a kinetic engineer, for example,
Yeah. So this I think you need to put a little bit of volume down on your speaker.
Right, okay.
So we are. I think we still have a feedback. Now it's good.
Okay.
Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, yeah.
Okay. Well, we talk about houses, we talk about new energy, we talk about what?
We talk about also aquaponics like we did last time.
Yeah, aquaponics for sure.
Also micro energy.
Yeah.
And many other aspects of community life in your projects.
Yeah, for sure. One thing that I think to simplify things, I'm sitting here with my cousin and my friend. my friend joined me in an evening with another friend who works for an engineering company, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And what I did during the process of that evening when we had a discussion is I justified the engineering components of which we're integrating. The slight dilemma that he had at the end of the evening, without mentioning any company names, is that I've known this guy for 30 years. He'd very much sort of, from an engineering perspective, bought into my ethos, and he knew it made perfect, coherent, logical sense. But the dilemma that he has is the paid job with the organization that he works with, you know? So, you know, we can't meet our future, and we are not meeting our future by doing what we did in the past.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's very evident. After that discussion with him, which he then said, I'm probably going to have, you know, the worst sleepless night that I've had in many years. The following day, I'm with my friend and his brothers there, and he said, I don't get it, Scott, completely. And I said, look, Colin, you're a typical guy. You work in the hospitality industry. You're poorly paid. I'm going to provide you with QU&ARK eco-modular flood-proof house on 50% shared ownership over an infinite period of time, and you'll pay me £50 a week. And instantaneously, for somebody that doesn't have a technical understanding, from a monetary point of view, at £50 a week to have something that's going to be aspirational, everybody's going to want one. It tackles with the changing environment that we're all witnessing and experiencing, okay? And from an economic point of view, it's going to be affordable to him. And from an energy point of view, because we will be generating micro energy in close proximity of the eco-modular flood-proof housing, he basically said, when can I have one? Now, guys, look, I'm not a politician. I'm not a banker, okay? Nor am I an economist. But what people fundamentally need at this moment in time is they need something that fulfills their well-being and their housing needs that's affordable. So therefore, in turn, it gives them more sustainable, more disposable income, which then, you know, helps the other aspects of all other parts of the economy, et cetera, et cetera. But what they don't need is a new build house that isn't anticipating the changing environments, to be built on a floodplain, to be flooded, and to be liable for an error in judgment that hasn't been their doing. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. But if we talk about rebuilding new houses, how I mean, there are a lot of existing houses. Is there? You think we have to take them down and rebuild all new houses?
Well, no. Here's a logical sort of assessment for us all. Okay, everybody is concerned about the devouring of our green belt. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that the national grid needs upgraded to cater for new renewable technologies that are being implemented. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so a solution to the problem that in capital expenditure terms seems logical and coherent to me is if you build on the green belt, there has to be greater expectations and greater demands made of you, i.e. it's eco-modular flood-proof, so if it's built on a floodplain, it's immaterial. It's micro-energy generation, which means that it's not increasing a further problematic issue on the national grid because it's resolving its own internal scenario, and it needs to be affordable. Because what we've got is these constantly growing and evolving cities, and if you take Scotland, where I am just now as an example, yeah, the countryside is being claimed with wind turbines to cater for energy for cities that are doing what they did in the past to try and meet our future.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense, does it really?
It doesn't, and I hope I've explained it in a simple enough manner to, where people start asking the question themselves,
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like saying where they're putting up these turbines, it's they're actually travelling to the city, and that waste of energy backwards and forwards, they could actually harness it right there on that spot, is to create the working environment around the built-up rural area.
Yeah. I mean, I've had moments with friends where I've been on a high street, which may have been built from a Victorian era, and then I'm saying to my friends, I'm going to describe this to you in a Monty Python type style, and then I run to the other side of the street and I start waving, and they're thinking, right, okay, this is really getting to Scott now. He's lost the plot. And I say, and I shout to them, and I say, right, I'm going to build the energy here. And then I go running back to them, and I'm saying, and now I'm going to deliver it to you here. If I've identified, qualified, quantified, and rectified the technology that enables us to provide the energy where we build, what's the problem?
And how do you face the Agenda 21 that is like completely the contrary of what you want to do?
It's you guys are familiar with Buckminster Fuller, yeah?
Not sure, no.
Okay, Buckminster Fuller was a futurist, okay, and had great visions for how he felt the future of our world would evolve. He has a very interesting house concept, which is a Dymaxion house, and that's Dymaxion. And anybody can Google.
Scott, if you have any links that you'd like to post as well, you can post them onto Bob's Backyard, yeah?
Yeah, or just in the Skype, and I put in because we have a chat room running too.
Right. Okay. Okay. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to just send the link to you quickly, and it gives people the ability to have a look for themselves. Yeah. And it was an exploratory design on how he felt the house of the future would evolve. And it's actually sitting in the Henry Ford Museum in America for everybody to go and see. And the link that I've sent you just now gives you an image of it there.
On radio.
Hey, Matt is joining us. How are you?
All right.
Matt from America.
He just muted the mic, but he is in the chat room anytime. If you want to say something, Matt, welcome.
Matt just dropped the line.
He just dropped out again. He was too scared, maybe. No, I think he will come back, and we can also talk about because you call it QU&ARK, and we are on the ARK City Radio. That is very perfect. Can you talk a little bit about this ARK? I know that you have people you don't want to talk about what they really do, but a little bit how this ARK get created, and how you said already you traveled around the world and meet different people with different inventions. Yeah. But I think you still have like a closer circle or a closer ARK that you are building. With different solutions. I know that there are a lot of inventions also included that you cannot reveal, but more that give a little bit an idea to the listeners what this whole ARK is about, and maybe what kind of directions we can talk about.
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, a bank offered me money regarding providing capital to QU&ARK. Without mentioning any names, it was a bank that was involved within the LIBOR scandal, and I said thank you, but no thank you. For QU&ARK, everybody that I meet on this journey, the first question that I ask them is, name me a brand in the world that you trust implicitly and you think can navigate us out of this current turmoil. And
there was none.
there's quite often a very vague and numb expression. 99.9% of the people that you ask the question can't give you an answer. And some of them might be from fund managers to financial advisors in the financial service industry, etc., etc. So it's QU&ARK. It's important that people, moving forward, there are offers that we have and we constantly have, but we have to align ourselves with the people that have the same agenda as us.
Yeah. So for you, the idea is to find a founding for the whole ARK then?
Yeah, I mean, there are things occurring, again, where we're trying to install, confidence and faith and trust within people. We have a lot of pledges towards what we're doing just now, yeah? Uh-huh. But say, for instance, you guys have £1 million as an example, yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
Bitcoins.
Listen. Just as an analogy, Jaba, if I take your £1 million, if I take your £1 million from you, and we don't have political will in place, then my behaviour could be construed as behaving as some other unscrupulous people. So we're crowdsourcing just now and spanning our wider ethical net and getting people on board. So I have a collaboration with an ethical clothing designer from New York. We're going to introduce an ethical clothing line for QU&ARK. This is a lady that experienced Hurricane Sandy, who doesn't need to be sold the benefits of micro energy generation because she was without electricity for 4 weeks after the hurricane hit the East Coast, yeah? And somebody acquiring a T-shirt for QU&ARK or a bank offering us money, it's all relative. Mm-hmm. This is our agenda. We want to build totally self-sufficient and sustainable communities that are affordable. Is that the same agenda that you have? Yes, we do. Okay, we want to collaborate with you then, But every action has a consequence. Without mentioning any names again, I've had a discussion with what is presumed to be an ethical bank, and the introduction of my model has a negative impact on their volatility within a market that is contracting. So here's an example. You can go buy a caravan for £50,000, yeah?
Yeah.
It will float away in floods. You can buy a house, average price in the UK, £150,000. It will potentially be flooded. What we're trying to do is fit a product in the middle at £100,000 that will cover any current or future eventuality. Mm-hmm. That has a negative impact on caravans. It has a negative impact on houses.
Yeah. So, and we also talk about, when I mentioned the garbage warrior, we talk about normal houses. We talk about houses that would be quite... Yeah, we can talk about normal houses, but in a way with micro energy and sustainable footprint. Yeah, that is what we talk about. We don't talk about self-made, homemade buildings. We talk about buildings that can be constructed or buildings, or different ideas around the buildings that are based on sustainable footprint.
Yeah, Jaba, that's a very valid point. So what's influenced me within this process? I have friends from all walks of life, yeah? As I've got to know you, Jaba, in this process, and I've got to know BJ, I love you guys to bits, yeah?
Yes, we do as well, Scott.
Thank you. But
You're my brother from another mother.
Okay. What you have to understand, guys, is that I'm a businessman, and I've been a multimillionaire, and I've been asset stripped by financial institutions on business models that I proved right. And there is nothing worse than an arrogant, belligerent banker when you prove them wrong. And look, that's nothing new to people, because we're in this financial crisis because they've been continually wrong. Okay? Yeah. So the Garbage Warrior, when I watched that program, we're talking about preference, choices, design, architecture. Mike Reynolds, homage and respect to him, his vision that he had. But the reality of Earthships is he fought bureaucracy for 10 years to create a community that would be totally self-sufficient and sustainable, which it was. But if we look at the aesthetics of what they created, look, guys, I've said this to you before in other conversations. It was a bunch of hippies that didn't have the master craft skills of a master craftsman. Of some of the people.
Well, I think the main guy, he was an architect. Yeah. He studied architecture.
Very much an architect, but we're talking about, mine is a more refined model of that. It's making, if you like, a commercial situation. I've identified.
Yeah, no, I fully agree. That's why I say your houses are more based on what we know as normal buildings, but they're done in a sustainable way. And I fully agree with that. I mean, a lot of people, they don't like maybe to live, like you say, the bunch of hippies. We can live in nature, but our problem is that we have winter. We need to heat. We need food. We need electricity, and therefore, I think the way of doing and how he also think about to making walls, how we think to make about food in his own home, and therefore the idea itself, it depends what kind of design. But then finally we just talk about design, because the idea behind is almost the same. It is that the house itself could feed the people, could heat with very low cost, and recycling water and all these things. Yeah. That is more the idea. Yeah.
But so it's painting a picture, okay? So I paint a picture, and that picture that I paint spurs your imagination, yeah?
That's perfect.
I have an architectural friend, and you're familiar with Hofhaus from Germany, the modular housing, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So my friend completely took apart the whole design and blueprint of a Hofhaus. He personally built his own Hofhaus from their idea. So as an artist, I love Buckmeister Fuller, but the Dymaxion house, it's not in existence. It was an idea. It was a vision. My vision, I can categorically tell you that everybody in the world will want one. However, my artistic impression perhaps will be stolen from Da Vinci or Leonardo or Picasso. Each architect, once we've enlightened them to our picture, our ideas, will make their own interpretation.
Yeah.
So my architectural friend, who's very knowledgeable, must be, exceptional at what he does to dissect a hoof house and build his own version. He said, architecture is stealing other people's ideas.
Ideas, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Now,
it's art itself.
yeah, there will be nuts and bolts incorporated within that will be patterned, that we can protect, but the essence of the idea, the design, we can't protect.
Mm.
And that's why I'm quite guarded in relation to showing that at this precise moment in time.
Yeah, but would you need to patent the concept?
It's very, BJ, it's I have inventors, scientists, and professor friends.
Yeah.
They have patent approved technology.
Okay.
Nothing has happened with their technology because at the end of the day, if your patent, is requiring money, but that money is then aligned to other technologies that are producing a current revenue, the simple solution to you not succeeding is don't give them the money. And once you then apply for a patent, your technology or your idea is then available to organizations that have vast departments that look at, dissecting your technology, circumventing it, and method and means to get around that. Entire departments that spend their whole hours, days, and weeks, and months and years doing exactly that.
Yeah. Well, a question on the chat room is this technology open source then? That is, you just answer almost the question. I think people on our radio are sick and tired of this kind of system, and of course, a system that would support different projects like that, sustainable and so on. I think it could be that it could be a different system if we want, but we don't really believe in another system anymore. That is a little bit the problem, because for us nature is not really a system itself.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a little bit the thing I always think about it also. It's just a kind, I would call that a management or organization. That would not be a system anymore. It would be a way that life could be way more easier in a way of living, but it don't need to be linked to a system. I have a lot of inventions and stuff, and I give them free out because I think it is a good idea for the people to have it, as long as the people don't gonna make money with it. And that is because we are still under a system that is based on profit. And as long as you have profit, you have people who lose. That is almost something that.
Well, yeah, but I don't. If we take the UK for example, yeah. John Lewis's, as a responsible employer to its employees, it has a partnership. Okay. So when they made profit last year, everybody in the organization benefited in that partnership from the profit they made. Mm-hmm. So there's one example of how.
So if the people came together and contributed to this, they would all profit from it.
Yeah. Look, I have petroleum companies talking to me just now. I have financial institutions talking to me, engineering companies, other companies with, more dynamics in who's representing their organization. They're sharing their ideas with me. I've spoken to inventors, professors, scientists all over the world. There's only been one guy who's a kinetic engineer who's seen my mind's eye of the vision for QU&ARK sustainable communities. Okay? So, this process moving forward, I can refuse money from a financial institution if they don't have the same agenda as us. Somebody offered me £100,000 last week and said, I want 50% of the business. I said, I won't own 50% of the business. It's a brand for the people, by the people.
Yeah.
So, if an individual wants to invest, they get preferential shares, which means that their preferences are above everybody else. So then an institution comes to us and says, look, Scott, we want to invest. That's fine. You do realize you only get ordinary shares. Because what we don't want is your company ethos diluting our ethos. And Google did a very similar thing when they issued further shares, where the people that had got Google to where it had arrived at were more than competent, capable, etc., etc. So when they were looking to issue further shares, the new shares coming in were issued on an ordinary basis, and the original founding shareholders had preferences. And that's pretty much where we're going like this. It's a for-profit organization, and I said to you guys before, I love the guy from Zeitgeist, yeah? But the minute he says free, I would say 70-80% of the people say, free energy doesn't really resonate with them. Water's free, but water still has to go through a process or some type of process for you to drink or wash in it.
No. We drink rainwater pure.
Yeah, you're the exception, Jaba.
No, I think that is a little bit, but I fully agree. When you see the system how it is actually and today, I think there is many ways to change it, to make it better. But in a future thing, the basic of profit, I think, is an issue. And to as long as people will profit out of ideas or of even construction and or products or anything, I think we will have an issue. We will have a social issue on every level. But how I see it a little bit, Scott, I have to admit, it is a little bit a solution for between, because it is your ideas and you think are very valid in the actual time of what we have now. But I think in the future, if you take some parameters away, that I just suppose, if let's say we are really just based on our resources instead of any profit. Because we are just here to eat, sleep, shit, and die, So in a sense, any profit we make out of it, and we have after our death, or I mean anything that we have more than ourselves after our death, we cannot take it with us. So in this sense, we are here to have a good living. And for that is just my idea, how I see it. But I think it is making sustainable houses. If the people would have no money, we would already have it. You know what I mean? If there would not be profit, we would have good shoes, good computers, simply good stuff. Even good houses, smart built houses, because we don't want to reconstruct them all the time, because it is just a question of effort and not a question of profit. And therefore, a lot of the ideas you bring forward, I fully agree, but it is still based on a system that it is getting out of profit. And that, I think, it is just, in my view, it is not really comprehensible for the future. You know what I mean?
It's about even and honest distribution of those profits.
Yep.
You know, we're in a situation that the bankers have fundamentally failed, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
But after that failure, they have still been rewarded. They're still collecting their salaries, they're still collecting their bonuses.
Yeah.
And that's as much fault of the politicians as it is the bankers. But let's say some purist economists were suggesting that they should have been allowed to have failed. The reality of that failure, the direct consequence would have impacted us, not them.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you look at Iceland, I think what's happened there is the corrupt politicians have gone to jail, the corrupt bankers have gone to jail, and they've started all over again. The other extreme is if you look at Cyprus, and people that have been hardworking, saved all their life, okay, their money has disappeared. However, again, there might be the suggestion that a certain element of that Cypriot holding within the bank was maybe a certain amount of black money, so there was maybe another agenda behind that motive as well. So if politicians fail and banks fail, it's ultimately us that pay the price. So where we're going moving forward, we're introducing the ethical clothing line. We've got musicians coming on board to create musical content to inspire people. We have an animation planned which is changing the 21st century built environment paradigms. We have the eco-social entrepreneur, which is a comedy sketch of The Apprentice. An Alan Sugar lookalike actually fires Donald Trump, and then they hire me as the responsible entrepreneur of the 21st century. And the final thing, Jaba, is a science class where we show people simple ideas for complex problems. And that could be taking them in a TARDIS back to 1886 when Professor James Blythe in Marykirk, Aberdeenshire, Scotland, had a wooden constructed vertical axis wind turbine, you know, rotating like a helicopter blade, that was made from awnings. That simple solution for a complex problem, irrespective of what it's constructed from, it powers a motor that generates electricity.
Yeah.
Okay, it may not be, you know, robust to stand the torrid, you know, Scottish weather, but, you know, look at the 1.25 million turbines that were constructed in Scotland and couldn't handle the adverse weather conditions here either, you know? Yeah. But again, it's where we take responsibility as individuals, personal responsibility for engineering our own futures. And what I don't do is I won't blame a banker for QU&ARK not succeeding, is because I don't talk to a lot of them anymore. I won't blame a politician for QU&ARK not succeeding because I don't talk to a lot of them either. Okay? So the process we're going through now is inspiring individual people. If you're not happy, you know, here's some content, here's a solution to the problem, and let's all work together to come up with our own solution to change this dynamic, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but if we talk, I mean, we talk a lot on our radio about the system failure and about what the bank and all that did. We don't even go from this kind of fact on that. I think somebody need to mute his microphone. Maybe Matt. You have to mute your microphone. And therefore, everything what is new, what is coming out, what kind of ideas we can have for the future is very positive. All what I think the most of the people wonder is how we can still be based on something that is getting out of profit and that it is not really that is crumbling. The whole system is going down in a way, and there is, of course, many things to change, and that's why I think that the subject is very interesting, because it don't goes in a way of Agenda 21, where they are planned the next 100 years for us, but it is ideas that's logic in my view. They are logic to make, and it's just the way how it will happen.
Get the people together to make it happen. You know?
Exactly. How the people will be able to get this kind of houses, and like you say, it is all the politicians and the profit makers,
basically shareholders, yeah.
who and the landowners. That is also something that even if you own land, you don't really own it, and therefore I think there is a change that. I can say like everybody's waiting a little bit on it. That's a huge change is happening, that we can start to really build our future in a way that it is smart. For the moment, I just have the idea, have the problem is that we just have the same issue all the time. It is
right. Okay. Yeah, but I'll use this example. Okay, I've read a book by Paul Knotts. Who's the author? The book is called Ouch, and the phrase quoted on the front of the book is "Ignorance is bliss, except when it hurts." Subsequently, the reason the book is called Ouch. Yeah. So, you know, we're cavemen, and I'm going out, and I'm going to go and catch a mammoth today and bring it back for the tribe to eat, yeah?
Yeah.
And then I go to Jaba's cave one day, and Jaba is quite a good artist. And I like his painting. And then BJ makes quite nice furniture. Okay? So I give you a piece of meat, you give me a piece of art, and vice versa with the same scenario with BJ. You know, as we've evolved, something has been created to offer that exchange mechanism.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, you know, I haven't had a billionaire come to me and say, Scott, you're a great guy, you've got a fantastic vision, people are engaging with you, and I want to be seen globally to be working with you to save this planet. Mm. And I've met them, Jaba.
Yeah.
That's the billionaire, and let's defend the billionaire, because what he's thinking is, what's in it for me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but we're still back in this caveman period or era, but we're still exchanging something of value.
I don't think we are still in a, it's like, I think the values of the things get very, they disappear. The people don't know what kind of value you really have until you really need it. It's like, if you have no toilet paper left, you know how important toilet paper can get suddenly. I think Matt want to say something. Just go on, Matt.
Hi. It's there's certain things that are kind of necessary in a large society. I mean, first you need a universal form of exchange. We call it money. When it comes to removing, to sharing everything, it's not a matter of just getting everybody to share everything, because that'll never happen. What you need to do is to replace profit, as well as the maximization of profit, as motivators to get people out of bed in the morning.
Yeah.
And my question is, what can you replace them with?
Well, our motivation is to create food, you know. I think you need to turn down a little bit the speaker, Scott. Matt?
I turned it off.
Is that you?
Yeah.
Okay. Matt is have a little issue.
I turned him off.
Okay, I think Matt is on his phone. That's why it didn't work so good.
Yeah, so Jaba, coming back to that, as Matt said, this universal exchange. Right?
He's back.
Matt, I think you just need to mute. Okay.
So this universal exchange that Matt was talking about, yeah?
Yeah.
And I want to defend the billionaires that I've met in this process. The individual person still has the mentality of what's in it for me.
What?
What's in it?
They still have the mentality of what's in it for me.
Okay.
Now the thing is, we have a universal exchange mechanism, as Matt said just now, which is money, yeah?
Yeah.
And I don't think that I'm going to be going to professionals and academics and saying, well, here's some potatoes, you know, can you do this for me? Or here's some carrots, can you do that for me? They're looking for that exchange relative to the here and now.
Yeah.
Now
well,
QU&ARK has some ideas much further down the road in 12 months' time in relation to its own tangible currency, which is probably gold, silver, and probably a digital currency similar to what people have seen with Bitcoin, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
But again, if it's a balanced and an equal share of proceeds and profit, it's not balanced and it's not an equal share of proceeds just now, is what you're saying, Jaba, and I wouldn't necessarily say that I disagree with that either.
Yeah. Well, that is the whole question of what value exchange that we will have in the future. That is, of course, another very interesting subject. But I would like to stay on the ID itself, because that is the most important. Like we today, or BJ made aquaponic out of cola bottles. And I think that is very sustainable, because it works very well. You don't need any.
It costs nothing.
It costs nothing. And therefore, the idea itself, and like also Matt, if we can get more from him, maybe with the better connection a little bit later. I think we're gonna anyway make a second hour, and maybe some people will also call in. Maybe people will join also in the discussion itself. But I would like to stay a little bit more on the idea itself, because that is very important. That we develop new ideas and that we promote new ideas. Any kind of exchange we have in the future, we need to have more sustainable equipment. To live and make it more close or more correct with the also nature.
Make it last, you know.
And make it last. That we don't need. I mean, if we buy new stuff, it's because it's broke. We should. If something is good, we can use it forever. I mean, that is like a tool, like a hammer. You don't need to replace it. You know. And that, I think that is the main idea. And a lot of tools or a lot of ideas were developed in a way that is fully out of profit. And that's why I think the profit and the sustainable in the actual world today is very difficult to comprehend. That's why I think it is good to
Jaba, you know, Jaba, I have a quotation. Innovation invariably only impacts those that control the market.
Yeah.
If I invent something just now, okay, and I see infinite benefits to humanity benefits from it, but that action will undoubtedly have a consequence to somebody else.
Of course. And this is why the patent office comes into play, you know, they always use the inventions themselves.
Yeah.
That's the
classic. But the whole patent process is currently under review anyway. I mean, it's like the educational system. It was born out of the Enlightenment period. There's so many things that we've been doing for decades, centuries in the past that we're trying to meet our future by doing these antiquated things. It's just, it's not working, you know?
It's time.
We need to keep in mind.
Hello, Matt.
That a patent only grants you the right to sue, and not much else. Hi, having the right to sue is wonderful, unless you can't afford a lawyer. And that's it's just the way it is. And so it's not necessarily just the patent; it's also access to the legal system.
Yeah.
Right. Well, the legal system, the money system, and all these different kind of systems are corrupt.
Yeah, they're holding us back.
That is that's why I think it's very important to focus on the idea itself and bring it to the people, that the people know that there is other possibilities out there, and that is what I face the most. People is, yeah, but what do you want to do? I mean, there are so many ideas out how you could manage life. Yeah. That is like, if somebody asks me that question, that means he never think about how life could be different and better. I think that is a main point. How you could make things different and better without destroying everything what we created. Because some stuff, of course, they are created and they are still valid. Scott?
Yeah. I have a way of doing that.
Okay.
See, I have a way of doing that. But like Scott said, with every new wonderful innovation, that somebody ends up on the short end of the stick. And right now, my company has the ability to basically manufacture petroleum crude oil, turning what has been a commodity into a manufactured product. This will greatly affect those who have this gigantic investment in infrastructure now. How do I answer to that?
Yeah, that's why also they don't allow it, and that's why they want to keep the monopoly on it, because they are scared of new new ideas. But the ideas are not that new than that, because we know that they put here before the Second World War, the farmers, they made their own gas themselves and drive their tractors all around in the field. So I think we're gonna make a little break. I think somebody have to mute his microphone, and then we're just going to make a little break, a little song, and then we are back. And if somebody want to call in also for questions or saying something, we are back in a little moment.
Okay.
Less and less. Less and less. Solidarity. Boy. Less and less. Less and less. It's the time to take care of each other. Give the chance to each and every other. It's the time to take care of each other. Give the chance to each and every other. While we care to sharing some innocential things you never use. choose not to refuse without excuse, pushing the daily abuse, running up a brand new hit, repeat it, buying every latest, admit it, running up the brand new hit, repeat it, buying every latest, pushing the daily abuse. These are the rulers of creation, vibration, foundation. These are the rulers of creation, vibration, foundation. Less and less, less and less. Solidarity, oh yeah. It's the time to take care of each other. Give the chance to each and every other. It's the time to take care of each other. Give the chance to each and every other. While we care to sharing some innocential things you never use, because you choose not to refuse without excuse, pushing the daily abuse, running up a brand new hit, repeat it, buying every latest, admit it, running up that brand new hit, repeat it, buying every latest, pushing the daily abuse. These are the rulers of creation, vibration, foundation. These are the rulers of creation, good vibration, foundation. These are the rulers of creation, vibration, foundation. These are the rulers of creation, vibration, foundation. It's the time to take care of each other. Give the chance to each and every other. It's the time to take care of each other. Give the chance to each and every other. Let's solidarity. Let's solidarity, boy. This is the time of. This is the time of. This is the time of solidarity.
This is a public health announcement. Cannabis cures cancer.
Thank you. I can't find this get to the screen.
We are back on BDcoded on the ARK City Radio, and we talk about sustainable ideas. And of course, sustainable ideas is with the actual system. How I would say it is, if we have good ideas for the future, we need to deal with the actual system to bring them forward. That is what have to be done in a way that if we want to deal with no money and resource based system society, then we have to wait. And I think the most important is to go forward with different projects, and therefore we should talk about the idea itself. if somebody want to call on the radio internationally, it is +44 161 298 0298, and from UK it is 0161 298 0298, or call on Skype Bob Backyard. And I know that Prajna have a question, but before that, I would like that Matt is talking a little bit more about his idea, because he is one of the member of the ARK. And please, Matt, can you go forward with some what you can reveal what you are doing? Is Matt still there?
Yeah, excuse me, I don't know why I'm finding this incredibly funny at the moment. Yeah, Matt is still there.
I think Matt, we hear Matt, but I think he don't hear us.
No, he's there, hang on. Go on, Matt. Try again.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm trying to find to mute my phone. I can't find it anywhere.
Okay. That is HTC. He is muted or he is gone. Okay, then Prajna, please come forward with your question.
Hi. A documentary filmmaker guy called Adam Curtis made a marvellous series, which I think was on the BBC, called The Century of the Self. And it explained how it is that we've all become indoctrinated into this individualism and so on. Now, people have been banding around things, ideas like what's in it for me and exchange mechanisms and so on. Well, these are all side effects of that century of the self, of that absolute selfishness that we've all been indoctrinated into to such an extent that for most people it's almost impossible to imagine anything else. But the way to solve all of this stuff is quite simple. You just have to give up for a moment this individual idea and go for a community idea. As soon as we're focusing on community, then I never do anything for money. I never do anything for myself. I only ever do anything for the community. And the community is the wider community around me. And likewise, if all the community are just doing stuff for the community, nobody's charging, nobody's making profit, but the community provides you with everything that you need. And likewise, you do whatever it is that you're most suited to do for the community, not for your own sake. And that way, the community as a whole gets all its needs met and so on. So that's what I wanted to interject in there.
Scott, do you want?
It's an interesting. I wouldn't disagree with anything that he said, but the point that you need to acquire materials.
Yeah.
Then there's an exchange mechanism which is money that is involved in that acquisition of those materials.
Is the Earth charging me for those materials, Scott?
No, but there will be a landowner or somebody in that process.
Why will there be such a thing? Because this is what's destroying our planet at the moment. Let me tell you about economies. Economies, first of all, start with interest. And because there is interest, there has to be growth. And this is why you hear governments and corporations and everyone talking about growth. In order to have growth, they have to have consumerism. And consume means eat, destroy, lay to waste. That's consumption. So our whole economic system, the system that allowed some people to possess things and to say, well, I can sabotage any of your love community efforts simply by denying you the resources to do these things. Those resources aren't denied to they're just some thieves and some vampires. And it's time that we said, no, we're not about individuals anymore, we're about community. And this is not communism. Yeah, this is not some ism or idea like that. It's just realizing that you're not an individual. You can't survive as an individual. Not in a community of a whole lot of individuals, because individuals are always selfish, always taking things for themselves. When you're part of a community and everything that you do is for the community, who's going to hold that to ransom? Yes, we have to change the system, but you don't do it by trying to hold on to all the things that are wrong with the system at the moment. And this idea of some people claiming resources, claiming land, claiming whatever it is, and then holding everybody else to ransom over it, that has to end.
Sorry, if I just can inject a little bit about it, is I think there is an actual way where the things are going wrong in different ways. In a way that we can say that stuff are not built in a sustainable way. On another part, we have a system that is completely corrupt based on money, and that is I would say that is a definitely different discussion than what we talk about today. It is just, if today you want to make something and you want to make it out of material that is sustainable, you have to pay money for it. That it is like, it is two different things. I think there is definitely a way that we have to go away from that profit-based thing where only 1% make all the money and we have to pay for it. But on the meantime, we also have to create things and stuff for the future, and any kind, like Matti say, any kind of exchange system we have in the future, it will replace the exchange system that to make the sustainable fabrication. And that is more the discussion we have about today. But if today you want to build a sustainable house with sustainable material, you have to pay for it. Then you can call your community, and like we do, for our aquaponic, we have a guy who help us out with some wood, but it's stay wood. I mean, if we put it in the greenhouse and we have 25 degrees with a lot of humidity around, this greenhouse will maybe stay for 2 years. We are very conscious about this fact. So if we want to have a material that would hold like for eternity, we need to pay for the material in the actual system today. That don't means that we can create things today in the actual money system that can hold for longer. And in the way, I think that's why we don't have to mix up both. There are very good ideas in the ARK, I think, and the exchange system can be replaced with no problem, and it would not be a problem for ARK neither.
Jaba, can I just interject here with a childhood memory? Yeah. Okay, my mother, I'm probably 8 years of age. And my mother says to me, she says, Scott, the fridge is just about empty again. And I've said, yeah, well, my friends have been round. And she says, how often do you go round to their house and clear out their fridge? and I said, well, not very often. I've always been a generous person. Another childhood memory at 14, a friend of mine at school, can I have a bite of your Mars bar? He used to hold his hand round the Mars bar so to stop me from taking a big bite, so I bit his hand. Now we're not talking about billionaires or politicians but it's instinctive human nature. Some people are giving and generous and want to share, and there's some that don't. QU&ARK just now is dealing with the relative to here and now. Materials, resource, exchange mechanism. Yes, we want to influence that in 12 months' time, but relative to how we do that just now. So I'm going to do a little bit of role play just now, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so BJ.
Yep.
You've got this £1 million again. Jaba, you have the £1 million as well.
2 million today.
Oh, shit.
You got 3 million today.
Okay, see you later. See you later, guys.
So we're in a room, we're in a meeting, okay, and I've pitched the vision of QU&ARK. Let's assume there's a financial advisor there, perhaps a fund manager and a banker, okay?
Yeah.
The thing that I'm desperate for to come out of that room with is your trust.
Yeah.
I don't actually need your money. What I need is your trust, hope, faith, and belief in QU&ARK that it will work. Now, appertaining to the financial advisor, the fund manager, and the banker, what are they desperate for?
Well, I think we are not enough businessmen to go.
No, yeah, but the simple answer is that they're desperate for your money.
Yeah.
Now,
I think I'm the bad guy with that million. I have to say, because I just give the million to the one who need it, or to buy the things that is needed. Therefore, I'm not really scared about the million. I'm more scared that anybody have the same share. But that is me. I grew up like that, and I would have very much struggled to get the million, because the most worry would be if I could make an equal share to everybody who needed. Mm-hmm. But that is just my way of seeing things. That's why for me to talk about money is very difficult, because I have a very bad relationship to money. I think is not the solution. For me, what is more interesting, way more interesting, it is the whole idea, how things are getting built smart and for a long time. And today, I fully know what you want to say about what is happening.
But sorry to interject here, but I want to specifically deal with the word smart. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's assume that everybody listening to this radio station has money.
Yeah, but that is not the case.
No. No, but it's all relative. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's make an informed decision and judgment ourselves. The first part of QU&ARK is land, bricks, and mortar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. And let's presume, for the sake of this discussion, that what we're going to introduce to that land, bricks, and mortar is going to have a greater value. The perception is going to be far greater.
Yeah.
And we're using that current exchange mechanism, money. Okay, that land, bricks, and mortar is not performing just now under old ideologies and old methodologies. So it means that you're going to buy that at a discounted price.
Yeah.
Is that a fair assessment?
What you say, Vijay?
We can't eat land.
We can't eat land.
We need food security first.
But to achieve the food security, you have to fundamentally do something with that land. Yeah. So moving on, the second part of the business are disruptive technologies. Yeah. So already there's two strands to that business. Land, bricks, and mortar, which will be distressed and available perhaps at a discounted price because it's contracting just now. And then the second thing is you have disruptive technologies.
Yeah.
Okay. So as potential future income streams, you have two strings to your bow. The third one that QU&ARK is focused on are precious commodities. But imagine a piece of gold that has a QU&ARK stamp on it, yeah? Mm-hmm. Somebody might be more inclined or more inspired to buy QU&ARK precious commodities because they see that a proportion of their tangible investment is going back into two other good initiatives, which are green technologies and land bricks and mortar that are going to make future sustainable communities. Now, I'm not a financial advisor, I'm not a fund manager, I'm not a banker, and I'm certainly not an economist, although I have been endorsed by an economist. Okay? That has a negative impact on something that's not working. So the positive thing is for the person that has £1 or the person that has £1 million, and we're looking for your trust, is it's a logical assessment for you to make yourself. And now what we need to evaluate is, why are we in this economic meltdown? Because politicians haven't shown restraint, bankers haven't shown restraint, and professionals haven't shown restraint either. So again, what we need to do is support an organization that is structured by the people for the people, represents individual people's values, principles, and opinions. It puts those values, principles above other corporations, okay, and create a new model that makes the old model obsolete.
Yeah, we have to make the old model obsolete.
Sorry?
We have to make the old model obsolete.
Yeah, but it won't become obsolete today. It may become
it's going to take time.
Yeah.
I think Bob Bob have a question. Or something to say.
Yeah.
I think somebody needs to mute.
Sorry, I think the noise is people muting. Wealth, worth, and measure, known to me as a Babylonian ideology that enslaves, literally, to enslave, creating a lesser and a greater within the populace. I really don't see how justifying this through profit serves anyone any longer. I totally agree that we must implement new ideologies, but to kind of say we're going to do exactly the same thing, but we're going to call it something different, to me is expecting, it's ludicrous. Of course, unless I'm missing something. So the profit that you're talking about and the £1 million that, who's got it at the moment, I'm not quite sure. I think it's gone over to, let me get it right, Switzerland somewhere. Don't know why the money over. The £1 million always.
We even have two in Switzerland.
We got two.
So yeah, you've got 2 million now. So you now owe money. That's the truth of it. Because that is a bill of debt. It's no longer a bill of bearing. It's completely fake. And now we've got people telling us we've got to use money. We haven't used money here. We haven't used money. We've accepted money off people because they really can't get their head round other digital exchanges, and all the transactions we've done from Dark City have been digital exchanges, including the purchasing of hard goods using digital exchanges. We've been using it, which is a free market economy, not one that's based on me going to someone else and asking them to develop a trust, where each and every one of us become our own trust, and we work together cooperatively. Now, I know many people seem to be coming up against the ideology that we're all, in our own way, creating here. But to actually say we need to use the Babylonian ideology of wealth, worth, and measure to segregate people through the actual system of wealth, worth, and measure to the people we have to go to wringing our caps and asking for money. Yeah, we've done this already and given them the opportunity to join us. But they don't seem to be able, as you've pointed out, they don't seem to be able to even conceptualize the paradigm we're actually currently, have created. It is free. It's already free. And to be honest, for those people who can't grasp it, Fuck 'em. Thank you.
You want to say something, Scott?
Yeah, I mean, it was a good sort of interjection from Bob there. You know, my friend's laughing as well, but it's how you create something from a minority perspective to a mass following. And, you know, I'm sitting in a square house looking out into a square garden, into a square master plan with a wall and fences and gates and enclosed in this sort of design and architect.
A labyrinth in there.
Yeah, that doesn't really enable me to be at one with our ecology and our environment, isn't really designed to make me appreciate our ecology and our environment. And until somebody physically walks through the door of a QU&ARK eco-modular flood-proof housing that is totally self-sufficient and sustainable from renewable energy in a master plan design and concept that people in the world will go, wow, with aquaponics and, shared mutual, gardens, etc. Until that's physically there and people can touch and feel it and smell it and be at one with that environment, that's the point that you have to get to, and you have to work realistically with the current tools that are available.
Because to be able to do things for nothing today is practically nothing, really, unless you have the tools yourself to do it.
Yeah, I mean, if you've got a very close, that's why I gave the childhood experiences, friends would come to my house and I would be overly generous and they could help themselves and eat whatever. But, when I tried to, get my friend to share a small morsel of his Mars bar with me, he covered his hand over it. So, who knows? He maybe grew up to be a politician and a banker. I don't know. After I bit his hand, I haven't seen him since.
Well, we know they are the problem, the politician and the banker.
Yeah.
I would have let him keep his Mars bar. I wouldn't have bit his hand, and then when he was starving, I would have laughed. I don't think it's. I get the analogy. I really do get the analogy. Most of us are actually reacting to trauma that we're actually living. If we can get over our trauma that we've actually gone through and having to go through these ridiculous, ludicrous systems we're all somewhat connected to or intertangled with. I mean, even Kelly and Prajna probably have disconnected themselves from the system more than most, but even so, they're still you could say, trapped in it. So I really can't keep using the same old, however well it's explained, how can we possibly use a system that's based on debt and then tell people they're going to make a profit? I don't get it. There is no profit in the debt. It's over. It's finished. And I mean, the good thing about it is we've still got people convincing people there's a profit in it. Well, the likes of us can actually get a hold into a decent exchange.
Well, I think there is a profit. It all depends where you.
Satisfaction,
Yeah, where is what you call profit? If it's
it can't be based on the fiat currency. That's what I'm saying. Is on the same analogy of the £1 million. It's like them two guys. As soon as he gives you the £1 million, I'm like, well, they've just been conned. He's just signed them up to debt. They're going to be in subservitude for the rest of their lives now, trying to pay off the rent on the notes that he didn't own what he gave them. Straight away it clicked in my head. It's a con. Straight away. Now I do appreciate majority of people haven't been subjected to 4 months, 5 months of constant truth. So-called. I feel it's my responsibility to do that here. The chat room goes wild with it. Well, hang on, that's the same thing. It's the same thing. And in all fairness, most people don't grasp this. They really don't grasp it. They do try to use exactly the same thing and try and convince us it's different. It's wealth, worth, and measure. That creates slavery. That's what it's done. That's what it'll continue to do. Justifying it any other way will continue to create slavery.
Kali want to say something. Please come forward.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, Kali.
Yeah. Hi. I wanted to butt in with this, what Scott was saying about childhood memories and this particular scenario that he brought up. Well, I've got another scenario, which is when you were a child and you saw a friend of yours had fallen and hurt themselves and cut their knee and were crying and all of that. Was your first thought, what's in it for me if I help this child? Or was your instant reaction to actually help or to go and get help? And even millionaires and billionaires, I think as children, when they see someone in trouble, their first reaction is to get help, not to ask what's in it for me. So that what's in it for me mentality is something that we're taught, that's indoctrinated into us. And what we need to do is actually get back to our true human nature, beyond indoctrination and beyond corruption, and actually be there for each other and for the planet beyond all of this. And I know that we're currently stuck in this paradigm where money rules, and it really does. And Paul's right, myself and Prajna, although we're out of the system as much as we can possibly be, we are still dependent on money for our survival right at the moment. But the longer we continue upholding that particular system, the longer we continue to be enslaved by it, as Paul just said.
That's because this system that you people are busy trying to tweak and modify and improve slightly is the thing that's denying us our existential needs. If we had our existential needs, we would be dependent on nobody, and we could give absolutely of ourselves, as we do, for free all the time. In fact, we always do give ourselves for free, but we still do depend on the system to a very small extent for our bare minimum existential needs. And the problem is everybody's focusing on all the stepping stones between here and there. Most people don't even have a clear idea of there. There is community. There is love. There is the opposite of all this what's in it for me idea. What's in it for me is what we've been thoroughly indoctrinated into over this century of the self, thanks to people like Edward Bernays and so on. It's no good taking little steps. We need to focus on seeing what's at the other end of it, this unselfish part of community, part of the environment, part of the world, and start seeing how we can get there as quickly as physically possible. And you don't need income streams and all that kind of thing in order to do that. We need to change our thinking entirely, in my opinion.
Me too.
Scott?
Yeah, I mean, again, I've enjoyed listening, and one thing that I've shared with you guys there via Skype is the green school effect. Natalia Cantor went to visit Bali, where John Hardy introduced the world to the TED conference of his dream, which was a green school in Bali, and that's where that process, really begins. And one thing that we want to explore moving forward is perhaps creating an art competition with children and get them to tell us in their drawings, in their pictures, how they interpret a sustainable world. And what's quite interesting about children, until they're conditioned, as you guys are saying, and indoctrinated, they're very divergent in their thinking.
I think there's of course is a way to see the actual system, to deal with the actual system, like Kali and Prachna is saying, we are linked in a way to the actual system, and more we use it, more the actual system will stay in place. But these are still two different things. Even if we are working to get rid of the old profit-based systems, we that should not exclude that we are having new inventions and that we can make them with the material that we have to pay for it. I think there is definitely a different thing between that and I fully agree with Prachna and Kali and Bob when they are saying that the actual basic system on the profit and the money is not what we should focus on for the future. That's why I really want to again come a little bit back to the idea itself. What is QU&ARK? What are the ideas behind? Also, Matt is like coming in and out all the time. So, Scott, can you tell a little bit about what Scott is doing?
Yeah, I mean, the thing that I'm sort of privileged and honored with is the inventors, scientists, and professors that have connected with me, yeah. The mechanism and exchange mechanism, yeah, we can debate about that until the cows come home. But trust in me and trust in the ethos of QU&ARK with further discussion about exchanges, they believe in me and they believe in QU&ARK. So, and a lot of those inventors, scientists and professors are not influenced by exclusive monetary values. They know that they have something that will benefit, humanity as a whole, and they would far rather be dealing with me through QU&ARK than some other, multinational conglomerate.
Yeah.
But then moving that forward, that situation forward, we still have the execution, performance, and delivery of that conditioned with this monetary exchange mechanism. And if we don't adapt to that, then it will never materialize.
Well, I think in the future it's very possible that the good ideas are more important than the profit that we can get out of it, or like Bob is saying, that we are putting ourselves in more debt and having lending money. I think we have a resource on this earth, and that depends all what we think about why we are here and what we are allowed to take and what we are allowed to use, and where we.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, let's deal with the debt. Let's get a caller from Iceland. What debt?
Yeah, I've been to Iceland. Obviously, I can arrange that for you, but I can't arrange it immediately. Yes, we have contacts in Iceland. I can do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, the interesting.
I've spent time there in the country, so.
The interesting thing is, Bob, debt.
Yes, they were all in debt. They all actually got themselves into vast amounts of debt. They did.
And
the entire
in that process,
were living on their credit cards,
Yeah.
which actually saved them. Yes.
Yeah, they've held up two fat fingers and went to the IMF. Go forth and multiply.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's kind of step by step. Or the other extremity that you have is that they rolled over, they had their bellies tickled in Cyprus, and they allowed their money to be taken from their deposit accounts. Now, I personally know who I admire in the process. It's the people of Iceland.
Without question.
So it's all about.
So why would any of us, with the example of Iceland, want to work with these people any further? Any of them? I mean, even their associates for being associated with them. Why would we? I mean, because we want to have exactly the same thing done to us again. Well, it looks like you might be speaking for a majority that do need to be led. Of course, we are not actually their voice. I or no one else here can speak for anyone else. Mm-hmm. We can't. That's the truth of it. We can't. But I mean, there seems to be a lot of projection into the future. We've got to do this future. We are only a small, and our ideology is brand new, but everything we've got is free. All of it. The software we've built on is all open source. The ideas are open source. Anybody coming in with any kind of ideologies are coming to us because we are totally open source. It's not exactly a new idea, but for us to all come together spontaneously, because that's what's happened. It's mind blowing. That is mind blowing. There's definitely many. I don't know. It's like there's a strategic game of chess going on, Scott. There's players and there's pieces, and it looks like the pieces haven't got a clue they're in the game. One side of it is looking across at the other side and going, and the other side actually knows it's game over. It's only a matter of moves. There's only a few more moves left, and it's game over. And all they can do now is just try and prolong those moves until the time runs out, and that's it. Tick, game over. That's
okay.
It.
Can I just intervene a little bit, because I think it is very funny. In a way, we are talking about ideas how to make our future better with the kind of equipment, and for me, the idea how we will reach this goal, how we will get the material, is completely not important. We listeners have to understand that we talk between ex-billionaire and a today broken guy. So for me, the whole idea behind it is that Scott have a lot of idea, and I think Scott have a good taste, a good also design wise. Maybe the listeners and myself are maybe not the best clients for Scott's design or stuff, because we can live with way more natural basics and stuff. But people in the world, we still have to understand that they want to live with the kind of comfort. They want to have 2 toilets, Just today I saw when they sell houses, they say there's 2 toilets in it. I was like, what is the importance to have 2 toilets? Seems to be very important for a couple of people. And I can think, if the parents are there and the kids are there and they grow up and they want to have their own toilet. My daughter is 11 years. Sorry?
No, that's my friend Jaba, and he's actually a chef. And if he made one of his wicked curries, you would perhaps understand why you would want 2 toilets.
Well, we don't have so a good isolated house, so we just have to open the door, It's like,
listen, if we're talking about, anaerobic digesters and creating our own energy, if we all get together, I can promise you, and he does one of his famous curries, we have enough energy for next month.
Jaba, I'm not talking about sending things back to the Stone Age and going and cooking over open fires and so on.
I don't mind personally. The moment I enjoy the most is when we make food outside and it's nice weather. Personally, I don't have issue with that, but I can fully understand that people want to live in a different way. I don't mind about that, and I also like clean houses, good designs and stuff. I enjoy that too for a while. and I just can go back to my garden and make my wood fire, no problem. But I don't mind in this sense. I don't mind if the people want to have more stylish stuff and things. And I fully understand, Prajna. It is like we can enjoy this, but that is my idea of free choice of the people how they want to live. That's for me.
You didn't hear me out, though, Jaba.
Sorry.
What people don't realise is that we're being held back from living in absolute abundance at the moment, and we can all have 2 toilets instead of some people having 3 and some having none.
Exactly.
At the moment, there's intellectual copyright. Everything is owned, whether it's even a thought is owned at the moment. Everything is protected and everything is denied, and
I fully agree. But I
don't, of all these things.
Yeah, but I don't think that is the idea of... Sorry, I think it's not the idea of Scott to have this kind of... to stay in this kind of material world. But we have to understand where Scott is coming from also. I mean, Scott maybe is talking a lot about things that also like buildings that could be sustainable. Myself, I could live in a house like they made with a garbage wire or full of garbage. I would not mind at all. But other people don't want to make it like that. And also, if we don't create so much of garbage, how are we going to create our houses? You know,
it's working with thermal mass. That's the thing, really, isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean, architecture can and I think Scott's right that architecture can now take what Garbage Warrior's done, and they can make that available to people all the way through the system, and that I'm right on with. I really do. I think the ideas are brilliant.
I'll give you an example. I've been in a Robert Adams house in East Lothian next to Edinburgh, and I've been in a castle where Bonnie Prince Charlie had dinner, and the level of craftsmanship that's been applied in that situation. I'm not knocking Mike Reynolds and Garbage Warrior, but it's the commercialism of having that commercial aesthetic finish that's appeasing on everybody's eye, and behind that there could be a wine bottle or as geothermal, etc., but it's the grade of finish that's accomplished. In my situation, it will be very neutral, very clinical. It's probably a 21st century version of how a Manhattan loft apartment should have been built.
Yeah. I fully agree. Like I say, I enjoy both. I fully enjoy to be in a luxury place or so. It's not the way I would to live, and or luxury, even if it's just designed in a way. I think that is free choice, and that is how things have to be built, and that's why I also want to come back. And if maybe Matt can finally tell us a little bit about his project, because the discussion is still about sustainable ideas, and of course, money in a way is not sustainable. In this way, if Matt can, if Matt hear us, just go ahead, please. Matt. All right. I think we don't arrive to.
Yes, I'm here. I'm sorry.
Oh, all right. Okay, please, Matt.
What can I tell you?
Yeah, please talk a little bit about your idea, about your invention.
Well, what we've come up with is a completely enclosed, continuously harvested technology for the industrial scale cultivation of microalgae. We've cracked the algae problem. the way that we look at it is you've got a regular pond that is in use now and has been for 50 years. And we use that as our lambda, so to speak. And we created technology that
I think we lost Matt again.
He's gone again.
But what I know from Matt is that
he's still there. He's just got a bit of lag. Go on, try again, Matt.
Yeah.
God, I feel for you, brother. I can. You're just not quite making it, Matt. I will drop you and bring you back into the call, Matt. See if that makes it better. Carry on, Jabba, mate.
Okay. What I know from Matt is that he out of algae he make.
He's cleaning the CO2.
He's cleaning the CO2 and make. Matt.
Hello.
Yes. I just say that you are out of algae. You are creating what?
We can create all kinds of things. Let me put it to you this way. First of all, as far as energy goes, in a cracking tower, when they take crude oil out of the ground, and what they're doing is they're separating it.
It's very difficult to yeah.
We've lost him. Yeah, we keep losing his audio. I really want
Okay.
to hear what he's got to say.
Yeah, please, Scott. Please,
Produces
Scott.
a different
Yeah, very robotic voice.
Man, this is just driving me crazy.
Stand still in a good spot.
Yeah, you have to freeze.
I'm trying to find one.
Stop walking around in the forest.
Tell me about it. And I'm holding my left leg in the air and my right arm out.
Put your leg back
my
in the
mouth
air,
just
man.
right.
That's right. Put your leg in the air. You have it then.
Hang on. I'm going to...
That's just it. You're gone.
Yeah, no, that was 1 meter too far. Please, Scott, can you tell us a little bit about what Matt is doing with his algae?
Yeah, I mean, Matt's one of many inventors that I'm working with, and he's devised the cultivation of algae, which is not conducive to the problem. It's a solution to the problem. Simplifying the discussion, he can harvest that, and in turn he can create biofuel. Now, relative to cost, we're probably looking at 50-60 pence per litre.
And now we have on different coasts. We have a lot of algae. They are created also because the farmers are using pesticides, that's going in the groundwater. Once this one is cleaned, how are we going to create algae?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Back.
Is this any better?
Yeah, much better.
Oh, good. All right. If it's all right if I get back to the example. They separate in a cracking tower each of the different fuels based on molecular weight. Every algae that produces a lipid at all produces a different length hydrocarbon molecule. So if you're able to grow a monoculture of enough algae of a given species, you're able to basically grow oil that is more easily directly, it's not necessarily refined, but converted to a fuel. There's a process out there that the fuel that you get out is directly dependent on what feedstock you put in it. So if we put in the right type of...
What would that process involve?
Algae for gasoline, that's what we get.
Would you need to put energy into it to create the new energy?
Well, nothing's free, but the reality is with our system is that it runs basically on its own inputs, and the harvester at full scale runs on about 1,500 watts, maybe 2,000 watts. The
So it's running, it's running on energy.
So it's one of those things where, we're doing, the technology exists. All you have to do is be able to increase the mean number of photons that strikes each individual algae, and you're golden.
Yeah. Matt?
Yes?
Share the good news. Apparently you had a phone call from the White House.
Is that the good news?
No, he's been waiting for that for a long time.
Call from the White House? Jeez, that was a long time ago, and they wanted to know how, everything that we had. So we told them, and they haven't called us back since.
Okay, so it's fair to say that everybody listening probably knows that Afghanistan, Iraq, the whole Middle East, it's not about, saving people from tyrants. It's all been about oil.
It's also about drugs.
That's all it's about.
Right, okay. So
excuse me, can I just throw in a little point there before you all go running off, because you've already made this point earlier. It was actually about what the oil is priced in. All those wars were based on the price of oil being changed from dollars to gold.
Yeah.
That's only happening because the United States government has abused everybody so badly.
And that statement came from an American.
I wouldn't actually take it all on the chin there, Matt, as an American. I think they've all been doing it to all of us, actually. It's not an American problem. It is definitely a worldwide issue now, Matt. Definitely.
Oh, I agree. That's what the G8 and the G20 are all about, But the concept is that people in America, their government has been lying to them so hard for so long and been doing so many things directly anathema to the concepts of, freedom and liberty that it's crazy.
Okay, Matt, I have a question for you.
Yeah?
As an inventor, and obviously there's a lot more inventors and scientists and professors connected with QU&ARK. Do you trust me?
Implicitly.
Okay. Do you trust the ethos that will perhaps in monetary exchange mechanisms need refined in the future? Do you trust its ethos?
Absolutely.
Okay.
How can a person possibly answer a question about the future honestly? That is NLP, Scott. An individual can never answer a question in the future honestly. Answer that question. How could you honestly answer a question about something that has never occurred yet? Impossible.
It's already occurring, Bob.
Well, silly question, Bob. Would you, if necessary,
exactly.
will you go to war?
Therefore, it isn't
yes.
a question of the future. It's not a question of the future. If it's already occurring, then that would be a different case. I trust you, Scott, now, because I trust myself. It is about trust, you're quite right. And we have been had over with trusts and corporations. We are just learning about this. I'm a dumb northerner, me. I followed the system of spirulina that you're actually using, the French production of spirulina, originally redeveloped in Africa to cure malnutrition and implement that into hydroponics and then furtherly into aquaponics. So I'm fully aware of what you're working with, Matt. I really am. The American perception, obviously, of that is fuel. Well, of course, in India, it's also used as food. And in Africa,
no.
it's medicine.
Originally, our system was designed to grow spirulina, actually. That's why it uses low-speed, low-shear harvesting, so that way
you don't have any damage to the algae, so it's acceptable for FDA human food use.
I've built the systems myself. Yeah, you need, as long as you run it in a country that's running over 20 degrees C, then you've got virtually no. Well, you haven't. It makes fuel. Well, human poop. You need human poop, and away you go. That's it.
Human poop plus high-level radioactive waste equals hydrogen.
Bit of wood, bit of leaf.
It does. It gives hydrogen. The radiation breaks down biomass into protein-based biomatter into hydrogen.
God, I'm glad you're on here, mate. I'm telling you, talk to you some more. I really do, man.
Listen, guys. Moving forward, you know, I've exchanged with Jake Wood, who's the author of Among You. Post-traumatic stress order. A veteran. He's come back. The poignant words that he used are the most traumatizing battle scars that any soldier has to wear are immoral scars of an immoral war. I mean, the whole thing about QU&ARK moving forward, okay, it's to inspire people to engineer their own futures. If they don't agree with the monetary exchange mechanism, they don't agree with it. Yeah. You know, we're going to work through a working model, a working solution moving forward. But relative to here and now, it's what we have to work with.
Yeah. Very true, very true.
We just make a little break, and we will back, and if some more callers will call, we will back soon. Bob gonna play a little song, and like Bobby said, we have all night. If some more people want to call in, if your mom call you, Scott, to go
we want
to
to speak with your mom.
We want to speak with your mom.
You don't want to speak to my mom, trust me.
We want. You know us already. We are open people, so open-minded people. So we can go ahead, and Bob will play a little song, and we are right back.
Okay.
Don't give them more of that. No one can bend the contract with customs, rules and verb. You might witness a cursed generation first with the devil, and eventually you will convert. No one can look so far, no one can pretend the future. Still a one step from us, no one can paint the stars. You are part of a child, no one can look so far. You are part of a no one can pretend the future. Take you power, but no one step from us. Don't give them more of that, no one can paint the stars. Your future is you, no one can look so far. No one can look so far, no one can pretend the future. What I can see, still no one step from us. It's what is inside of me. No one can paint the stars. You are part of a job, what cannot, can jump up and look so I can jump, what cannot, can look so you are part of a job, what cannot, jump up and look so I can jump, what cannot, you can look so you are part of a job. You are part of a job. No one can look so far. You are part of a no one can pretend the future. Take you power, but no one step from us. Don't give them more of that. No one can paint the stars. Your future is you. No one can look so far. No one can look so far. No one can pretend the future. But I can see, still no one step from us. It's what is inside of me. No one can paint the stars.
All right. Still BDcoded or whatever you want to call this show or this discussion. I think, like Bob is saying, we have a lot of people reacting. Maybe sometimes, we even sometimes have more people in the chat room, in the Skype, than in our listeners itself. The main subject is sustainable ideas, but the discussion can go on wherever it takes us. Who is joining us?
There's more than just sustainability. I mean, with our technologies, we found that if you chase down the appropriate reverse osmosis technology and the appropriate gas infusion technologies and things of that nature, we can recycle virtually all the water. We don't have problems with evaporation because the system is sealed. And we can grow everything from, Batrachoccus bronnii to make green crude oil, to Metacoccus pluvialis to make astaxanthin, which is an antioxidant that's a whole lot more powerful than vitamin E. Nutraceuticals, pharmaceuticals, bioplastics, and the list goes on and on. Fuel. The reason that the fuel is such an important field is that only with fuel you have to grow 32 dry weight pounds of algae to come up with 1 gallon.
How much?
So so 32 pounds of algae plus processing, and you get $4 for it. And that's why getting algae to work for fuel. If we can make it work for fuel, which we've done, then it'll be economically viable for literally everything else. I mean, it's where you have to produce the most to get the least is fuel.
Matt,
make it hard on ourselves as we can.
Matt, do you make algae 100% organic?
Honestly, no, we don't. We use quasi-synthetic nutrients because they allow us to do certain things that are necessary in order to assure economic viability. But we avoid the food versus fuel debate.
This is not.
When you say organic, you see that's the thing is that the first thing that springs to my mind is okay, organic. That means we want to use algae to replace a waste treatment plant. That kind of thing. And the reality is that algae doesn't eat that much. And so when you say organic, I'm wondering where you're going with that exactly.
Well, I have algae in my own aquaponic. If I don't give enough air in it, or if don't really know why 100% it gets in one barrel, I have algae, and in the other, it's all clean. But
I know why. If you have water in a barrel and it gets algae in it, that's because you didn't sterilize the water when you put it in. I always run ozone.
The water is cycling all the time.
I'd have to see the system, but it all depends on how you're moving the water. Our system just uses rising CO2 bubbles to push it around in a circle. We don't use an energy-consuming pump for circulation.
Yeah, we just have one pump that is like making the gravity problem or solve the gravity problem. But the water is circulating in one is older than the other, but the water is the same that's circulating inside. And in one we have algae, and it's just from the one it's floating in the other. Maybe it's more exposed to the sun. Maybe I don't know. But the question is more: is there another way to make it really organic? But because you come back to say that you need to use some chemical products to.
Well, I'm sure that it can be done organically. The whole thing is that organically at scale. I'm really not sure. It's one of those things where as time goes on, we would like to go organic with it, or to minimize the number of chemicals that we would put in it, to feed the algae and make it do all kinds of. We speed up the rate of mitosis and cell division and things of that nature to increase productivity.
There's also a problem with fermentation that takes place using organic nutrients in recirculating systems.
That's true.
You could do it on a larger scale. Matt's quite right, but on a small scale, that's what he's going to be tied to at the moment. I get where that is.
For biosafety, we even made sure that everything that we do, we're only doing to natural algae. No Franken algae, no genetically manipulated, none of that. For safety of the ecosphere. Now, I think that from a productivity standpoint, it'd be very interesting to put Franken algae in our machine. That'd be real interesting. because at that point algae-based fuel would get really cheap. But unless you're willing to take some of the precautions that we have in system design, then it really is not a smart idea. I mean, we have, say we're going to have an algae growing facility in someplace where there's tornadoes. Right? We want to put storage tanks either.
Are we losing Matt's audio?
Buried underneath it, so that way you push a button, all the nutrients and chemicals go in the ground into tanks, and it's okay to scatter the tubes everywhere, because the problem will become one of eutrophism. I mean, you don't need 9-foot daisies and 20-foot high corn and hominy the size of a basketball. Because that's what you would end up with nutrients that we have. So it's all about taking care of the environment, and because somebody's going to need it down the road, and being able to do it as long as you can create your own energy, you're good to go. I mean, it's plant food and water, and sunlight's free.
You think that is a system, you need a certain temperature to do that?
We have a temperature control system that goes with it. You see, in order to, if you're going to do human food algae, you need to have the most consistent algae coming out of the machine as possible. And in order to do that, you need to be able to control the temperature of the algae culture from noon to midnight, the full temperature swing of no more than 3 degrees. Your pH can't vary by more than 0.2 in either direction without affecting the quality of the algae. So it has to be.
What is the temperature?
I'm sorry?
The temperature, what is the temperature degrees?
It depends on the species.
Okay. So you have really different algae on different temperatures, on different pH, and that have to be very regulated. But
yes.
Okay.
You really do need to automate that process, especially with our machine, because the culture is not necessarily in our machine. The culture. Imagine if you put a couple of acre feet of water instead of in a single large tank. You put it in a tube that was 8 miles long. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Temperature of that.
Yes.
And that's what we've done. It's actually easier than we thought it would be.
Oh shoot. Okay, that needs a lot of. And so your idea of economical is also to how much energy you use, electricity to heat and to regulate the whole thing.
But you see, we plan for off-grid facilities. So if you put a solar farm next to the algae, then all of a sudden everything's free.
Yeah.
I know it sounds crazy, but when we started to design not just the algae growth system, but the ancillary, systems around it, all of a sudden, using this technology versus that technology, all of a sudden things started to kind of interleave very nicely. I mean, it was, as a guy with 15 years in R&D and manufacturing, I'll tell you, I've never seen anything like it. I've made a lot of things. But this one, it was like somebody was handing me, cards from a deck, and I was picking them up in order.
And how did you come on producing algae? Is that something you discovered recently?
Actually, to learn this, I learned this by accident. I worked on a bioremediation project in 2002. Where we had taken the worst eutrophic lake that we could find, Lake Elsinore in California, and we designed a comprehensive system for the bioremediation of a eutrophic water body. And
one of the technologies that came up for consideration for use was basically taking a long clear tube, going around the perimeter of the lake, putting a little bit of algae and lake water in at one end, and getting back clean lake water and a lot of algae at the other. Well, just in small scale tests, this was just ridiculously effective.
And to transform the algae to gas or
It has other.
Well, it depends on what you want out of the algae. That will tell you what process that you're going to need. There's a lot of there's a lot of things available out on the marketplace. Some of it is nascent technology, but as a guy who has, all my time in R&D, I can look at something, see the spec sheet, and tell you if it's going to be worth usable with what we have. It's a process from a company called Diversified Energy, diversified-energy.com. And they have a process called Sentia. And that is the process that what fuel you get back is directly dependent on what algae species you use to grow your oil. Now, you could take that with a species called Isochrysis galbana, put that at an airport, wrap the PBR, or our technology, a photobioreactor, PBR. You can wrap that around the airport just inside the perimeter fence and turn an airport into an energy-independent facility. But that idea gets nowhere.
Yeah. All right. And how is your project working? Is you get other calls then from the White House?
The White House. Boy, when we go back to politics.
No, it's more in a way. How are the companies are reacting on it, or how much refuse you get also to have these kind of solutions?
Jaba,
yes.
do you mind if I interject, please?
Come on.
Okay. What's your description of a junkie?
Well, a junkie. My idea, if you want a quick version out of it, is education is everything. So therefore, if I think a junkie had a very bad childhood and not enough support to have enough self-confidence, and that is a result of our profit-based society.
Okay, so imagine that we say a politician is a junkie, yeah?
A what?
A junkie, a politician.
Yeah, okay.
And let's say that we try to wean him off of a carbon economy as opposed to heroin.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, because Matt is one inventor with one simple solution for what, the further we go in this discussion, doesn't really seem to be that complex of a problem.
Mm-hmm.
So, once we decipher how to wean a politician off of taxes and the heroin, we have the simple solutions for the complex problems.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's easy. In America, I think everybody just ought to quit paying taxes until the government comes to bear.
Well, if you live in Texas, and we spoke about this before, Matt, I'd kind of watched the governor, I wish I could remember his name, in natural resource terms.
Rick Perry?
Sorry?
Rick Perry?
No, I can't remember. But the point being is that the way the governor spoke from Texas is that they're saying what Matt's saying, and they're waiting for the inevitable for the American government to collapse on its fiat system, its fiat currency. And then, I think the star of Texas will be shining brightly again.
Well,
too.
Yeah, Matt?
Well, it's... See, the problem isn't necessarily the politics or the politicians. It's the people outside of there
Who support the politicians.
who insist on tinkering around with things, but remaining external. And, until these people can be found and, I don't know, told to shut up,
Which they do anyway.
We're kind of on a course that need not be, and it's all based on less than honest talk.
Mm-hmm.
And the major media, if you ask me, the major media are guilty of war crimes because war propaganda is illegal. And, under UN Charter. And so, I just, the more they propagandize how do you, they bought the media, they bought this, they bought that. So now they control everybody's what they hear, what they see. It's, from their perspective, it really is working out well.
Okay. Well, that's very cool. I mean, my idea of a politician is still the one who give him the most money to take the decision he was supposed to take. That is the puppet behind the politician, and that's why as long as we are waiting for the politician to make things, and that is not the case, it seems to be of Matt and neither the actual system, and. The only problem I have always with this kind of good ideas is that you can have any good idea. They will find a law to make you as a criminal. It's like we are making our own food in our garden, and the Monsanto style we also feel in Europe. So therefore, soon we will be garden criminals, garden terrorists, and therefore. Good ideas are always suppressed by this kind of system that is still based on the money. But in a way, as long as we would wait to make good ideas to coming out and to make to use them, they will also disappear and be more and more suppressed. Therefore, I think it's very good to already use the different ways to produce energy for our society.
Yeah, but Jaba, on a positive note, the oppressed have always historically risen against the oppressor, so, in social unrest terms, we only have to look at what's going on round the world. People are not happy campers just now, Yeah,
that is, of course it is not, but they don't know what to do, and because they just think because 4 years ago they vote left, next time they will vote right, and that will make the whole change, and that is going on and on and on and on. And
well, especially when both sides are in collusion. Oh yeah, vote for whatever side you want.
Yeah, well, maybe this is quite a radical solution. I think Scotland's best export is whiskey. Maybe whoever's listening, go out and buy a bottle of whiskey this evening, drink it all yourself, watch Braveheart, and then come back fighting tomorrow.
And then realise the English won when you bought your government.
Yeah, but just to tell you guys that Scotty came back from America because he see the movie and he actually cried, and I think that is very sweet. And we was talking about like the way Scotty see he love his whiskey country. It's not because of the border and the skilled. It's because
but there's nothing that's not masculine about a man crying.
Oh, I know.
You know, look at William Wallace when he was put on the rack and stretched, and his body was taken apart, and all his limbs were sent to all four corners of Britain to remind people that they shouldn't. I think he was crying at that point, you know. And I was crying for him as well.
Yeah. Well, it is that's emotions, and that's movie emotions, and emotions are coming from the mind, and the mind is can create all sort of different things to make you cry.
But yeah, it's okay to be irrational as long as you know you're being irrational, right?
If it would have worked, if that ideology would work, of course it would have worked for William Wallace, and we wouldn't be having this conversation.
Listen, Bob, let's not get into Hadrian's Wall discussion, please. You know,
that was there to keep. What was that? It was built to keep the Scots out. And we all know whether you be in England, Ireland, Scotland, Wales, America, Canada, you're all living under Roman rule anyway. So, yeah, what's the difference?
Yeah.
But listen, you know, very interesting, you know, take Matt, okay, coming back to a bit of seriousness here. Matt has one piece of disruptive technology, and in micro energy generation terms, off-grid, it's undoubted that it would have a huge impact on petroleum companies, yeah? And it comes back to the will of the people to take responsibility for engineering their own futures. I mean, you're looking at existing technologies that could utilize Matt's biofuel. So we're not talking overly disruptive apart from the immediate impact on the price of a barrel of oil.
Yeah. Is to implement it, you know.
Well, okay, you see, that's just it. Is that at this point, nobody is producing enough algae-based biofuel to be able to go public, so to speak, with it. They're having to blend it with gasoline and this and that. And the whole thing is that right now, they're pricing a barrel of algae oil based on petroleum.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when somewhere down the road that algae-based crude production gets high enough, there's going to need to be a trading board for it.
Yeah.
And there's going to need to be, you know, all the mechanisms, and at that point, you know, it'll be able to compete toe to toe with petroleum.
That's mean the same price.
Is that the same price now?
Well, that's just it. Is that if I could do it for less, I would.
Yeah.
Well, if the petroleum wasn't actually being priced in dollars, then you'd immediately be able to do it for less.
Yeah, I'm not. See, I'm not all that up on international financial stuff. I understand that it's been this way for crude oil since World War II, and you know, the United States set themselves up similarly in a number of different ways. But you know, I'd like to see oil. You know, oh man, it's one of those things where you want to see a universal form of exchange, but you don't want to have a global currency unless it's only used for petroleum. You understand what I'm saying? It's you don't want to have one currency for everybody, because variety, frankly, is what makes life interesting.
Yeah. I'm talking about the digital exchange, of course. The digital exchange is already one exchange, and it just doesn't serve everybody. The current method just serves a few. Exactly the same as the educational paradigm. The current paradigm, as mentioned by Scott earlier, in the Victorian era, you know, industrialization, mechanized everything, and that's what the schools were built on. So it's exactly the same, bro. Exactly the same scenario.
Oh yeah, they thought that people were machines and flowers were machines and little animals were machines. They used the machine metaphor.
You can't really blame them, though. That's where they were. It doesn't mean that they'd be a rich, evil elite. Do you know?
It's just a metaphor that's a metaphor that's no longer valid.
Yeah, exactly. But, the divergent thinkers, like yourself, and I include myself in there, the schooling program failed on me miserably. It doesn't mean I didn't end up working in education, though. It kind of got me one way or another, So
you're a teacher?
No, I work within education policy.
There's just a question in the chat room. Can you ask why some days there are no trails at all day? We are not talking about chemtrails today. We talk about sustainable ideas in case people don't get it. We talk about algae and different subjects that is around a global idea of the future. So,
sorry, Jaba, what was the question?
Well, to me,
had nothing to do with the show today.
For me, Scott, it's been about me learning all this stuff that Scott's doing. Really, for me, it's been an introduction into Scott's work and the ARK. I noticed the similarities straight away. BD decoded, ARK City, and it's so yeah. It's been thanks, Scott.
No, you're welcome, and it's been awesome. Meeting you, Bob, and chatting and getting people's different views and opinions and perspectives. But Matt, I have a very close relationship as I do with a lot of the other inventors and professors and scientists who are quite a shy bunch of people. But I think the next 90 to 120 days, I think QU&ARK will probably, in eco-social responsibility terms, will probably become the same as Psy Gangnam Style. If Sir Ken Robertson changing the education paradigms obtained 10 million hits.
Bob, Scott, don't use Gangnam Style to promote your thing.
Yeah, but listen, Jabba, I didn't mean for you.
No, I know what you mean, but
hold on, I have to answer the door. Some of my Russian friends have just come. Hold on a second.
Okay. I definitely
couldn't just say, come in. Throw something in here.
Okay, Prajna, come on.
One of the things I question about biofuels is at the moment we're suffering because almost all of our technology, whether it's agricultural, food, pharmaceutical, everything is all based on oil at the moment, and it's killing us. It's highly toxic. So even if we're making it out of algae, why do we want to keep on with a system that's already causing cancers and illness and so on all around us? Isn't it time to start looking at different ways of producing energy?
Because let me answer that one. I have at least a theory on that one. When you are able to grow clean oil, what you're not doing is you're not coming up with oil that's been sitting in the ground under heat and pressure, taking in heavy metals and all kinds of other things, and other through minerals in the earth. What you've got is just straight hydrocarbons, as opposed to hydrocarbons and a whole bunch of other trace elements that when combusted, produce these really nasty chemicals. My perception is that it'll be much cleaner to use biofuels.
Is it the kind of stuff you're going to be able to drink?
Well, was it? You'll have to help me out, you clever people here. Was it Wolf Diesel, Hans Wolf Diesel, who invented the diesel engine?
Rudolf Diesel.
Rudolf Diesel. There you go. I knew one of you clever blokes would know that.
He knew
that didn't cause any problems. It's how that engine's been modified now to run on an alternative fuel. The mineral
Petroleum is an alternative fuel to the diesel. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So most people don't grasp that, Matt. I mean, I like I say, a lot of people think I'm clever, Matt, and it's not. I've been exposed to a lot of really clever people. You know, that's what it is.
Yeah, I'm not really clever. I just know how to read.
No, I can't even read properly. All right, you know.
Bob.
Yeah.
I've just had somebody send me a random message. They said, "Was that not Vin Diesel in Fast and Furious?"
Vin Diesel in the Fast and Furious. Yeah, it could be. Yeah. Well, there you go. You know, why not? Fast and Furious bioengines. I'm actually with another member of the Dark City crew, actually, who does the personal navigation. Dave.
Hi, Dave.
Dave. He's hi, Dave, if you're out there. I'm looking at taking out a big fuel guzzling engine I've got in a 1983 kit car and putting a biofuel engine in it. And
why not just use the same engine and run it on biofuel?
I did this with BMW, man, and caused a bit of a stink because the BMW said if you put biofuel in your car, in your BMW and Mercedes, that it voided the warranty. And through UK legislation, there was 5% biofuel in, so I pranked them all. I rung them up because I did have a BMW I bought off eBay for £700. This is how much it cost me to do it, and then I converted it to biofuel. Right, this is what I said. I've converted it. It runs on 100% biofuel, and I took it round the BMW and the Mercedes agents. I ended up. Can't remember which show it was, but on the radio, Manchester, BBC Radio Manchester, I think it was, or one of the big radio stations on one of the shows, because technically you had to fuel your BMW without breaking the warranty. If you were to follow the warranty, you had to get on a ferry, drive to Ireland, where the legislation hadn't been put in, to refuel your Mercedes or BMW. Of course, people wouldn't have to do that. What I was pointing out, my angle on it was that the government isn't communicating with the companies. The companies aren't actually communicating with the... You know, we think that they're all in this big conspiracy together. They didn't even know. The fuel... The BMW and Mercedes were like, what? No. And I was driving my car down, the mechanics were coming out, and they were going, where's the conversion? He said, how'd you do it? I went, all right, what you do is, you go to the biofuel man who sells biofuel, you pull this lever, and my fuel cap opened, and I unscrewed the fuel cap. I said, you put the nozzle in there, and press the trigger. Yep, that was it. Nothing else.
Oh, yeah.
Just let me so the listeners know, right, that depends. If you've got a common rail engine, all right, then you do some research, because it isn't that simple on a common rail. All right, you've got sensors in it, and you get a problem, because the biofuel has got it's thicker, it's got a higher viscosity. So that means you get more miles per gallon, and your sensors from the man don't like that, and it breaks.
Yeah, you need a new map and a fuel map in the computer.
Yeah. Well, there you go. There's the technical man. There you go, Matt. Thank you very much indeed. But if it isn't a common rail, it is really that easy. You just put it in, and we have winter diesel in Britain all year round, right? So that means. Yeah, man. I mean,
well, if it's a diesel vehicle, you can put in algae oil straight without refining and burn that.
You even can French fries oil. You can put it in. Not in the winter, but in the summer. In the winter,
you can use it 50% with diesel, normal diesel. Yeah, that and it'll run fine. You know.
Excuse me, people. We have to make a slight interlude here. We're going to have an advertisement. If there's any politicians out there that have an island and would like to create affordable communities and a sense of well-being where everybody is 100% content and happy, ring this number.
0161 298 0298, and if you're outside the UK, that would be +44 161 298 0298, or you can contact anyone on the Dark City team. We will accept your unconditional surrender immediately.
Hold on a second, Bob. I have a caller coming in from Sweden.
I'm waiting. I'm deadly serious. Well, it's not deadly at the moment, but you know, most of us don't want to reap retribution. But hey, eventually, I'm sure they will. You did mention about.
I know. Why don't we go fix Haiti and the Dominican Republic, that island? Turn it into a biofuel exporting country.
We could actually just fix ourselves. That'd be cool, wouldn't it, man? If we could all just sort our own stuff out, you know.
Well, I would see this as the prototype for the rest of us.
Mm-hmm. Well, on an interesting one, and if perhaps Shrek is listening, the first monster of Scotland, Alec Red Herring, Costa Rica will probably be setting a world-leading exemplar on mass production and harvesting of wind energy. That's Costa Rica in South America will probably be leading the rest of the world by example.
Is that where we had the earthquake today?
Perhaps not a good idea then.
Whoops.
5.7.
Figure out a way to get an earthquake to generate energy.
Yeah.
Spain's actually leading in the production of medical grade cannabis oil. That's a positive thing. That's actually happening. If there's any rich people out there or politicians who would like to assist people in getting this kind of facility off the ground, the opening costs are €16,000, and that pays for the first 12 months. No labour, you know, all the labour is free. Everybody's going to work for free. It's just the cost of the place.
Bob.
The same number.
Bob, the only problem is that the politicians in our region are in front of the TV on this hour. But I think the idea to make a radio show to the politicians, you know, on an hour.
Why I mentioned it is when somebody asked us what the numbers were, and it's difficult because we get streamed all over the place now. But I went looking on ours, and I was looking at some of the unusual IPs, and there's actually 2 from Westminster. So who knows?
Yeah,
Jaba. There is quite a large exchange there.
If it's 66 in the beginning, it comes from the White House.
Oh my God, the White House is there as well, and we've only got one from.
Sorry, guys. Sorry. We really have to have a continued bit of humour here. I actually think
I like ketchup.
I
think I want to introduce some music just now for the discussion.
Yes, we have 15 minutes left, and definitely let's get some links. If you can mention some links. I put it out already in the beginning of the show, but I will put out the Facebook group of QU&ARK again. And is there some other links? Also, Matt, can you maybe put some links if you are in the chat room, or if not in the Skype? So I will put it also in the chat room. And yeah, Scott, please let us know what we have to know before we will end the show.
Okay, I really have enjoyed the discussion and the chat, but I'm really in a humorous mood just now, so I just want to play a quick song to everybody. This is for the politicians out there.
Okay, that's... Yeah.
That was a song.
That's what they're going to hear at the next election.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah, nothing. I think that's good too. Politicians always promise so much. You know, we just can say listening now.
I'd just like to let everyone know that from this side of the radio, Scott has just played every politician. Dead air.
Yeah. Or have I?
Well, that's what they all got, Scott.
Oh.
We didn't hear anything, bro.
Oh, did you not?
Brother.
No, but it was quite sinister.
So,
the link that I just put up?
Yeah, I put it also in the chat room.
Okay, that link is to a paper that I wrote called The 5 Cornerstones. The 5 technologies that would be necessary to do a real number on climate change as a concept. The idea is that the algae-based biofuels that consumes, excuse me, the bulk of the CO2 that's going off into the atmosphere now. And you look at the other technologies, one of them is a wind-driven air pump, basically, that sits in the ocean and oxygenates the water. And through the bubbles going through the ocean, it puts water vapor into the air, salt-free water vapor into the air. And that will create more rain, and rain is what breaks up carbonic acid, which is what is causing the oceans to have a pH change.
Did you say more rain?
Yes.
Thank you, Matt. We just have 1 day sun every 10 days now, right?
I understand, but there are so many places that are just arid that didn't used to be. That the only way to bring back the old weather patterns is going to be to put the old amount of moisture in the air. But the whole thing is that it does it wind powered, and in so doing, it also it has the ability to revive the dead zones in the oceans. Okay, and to me that makes the oceans far more sustainable. Basically, it's what we call a wave action generator, because it does the same thing to the water that the waves do. It just does it in a much more concentrated fashion. And you'll see there's some other things that are listed there too, but that's a paper that I wrote that in my opinion pretty much gives the ability to fix a lot of this, as well as keep it from happening in the future again. And we spent 200 years making the Earth a dirty place. Why not spend the next 200 years making money cleaning it up?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. It's all about the money.
But that is also what they say, what they try to do with chemtrails.
Yeah, but chemtrails is sprinkling chemicals on people. It's a real short read. It's only about 2.5 pages.
And it would actually revert what is being, I don't know what's being concluded. What some people are concluding chemtrails are. I think what Matt has just described is the solution.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Am I right there, Scott?
Yeah.
Right, okay, man.
Don't tell anybody.
Scott, I'm not clever, I'm just divergent.
Don't tell anybody, you'll ruin my street cred, man.
Listen, I'm not clever either. I'm just divergent thinking as well.
Yeah, wonderful, man. It's amazing. Because hang on a minute. That would, and obviously Jaba picked that up as well. But no, that wouldn't create, that would do exactly the opposite. It would create rain. It actually create it. It would do that, from what I grasp, in a completely natural way. You couldn't overdo it. You couldn't overdose it.
Hold on, guys. I think we have another inbound call. This time it's Sheikh Mansour from Abu Dhabi. Hello, my friend. You say you can deliver rain?
Yes, I can. I just can't tell you where it's going to fall.
I would suggest that the current state you work in desalination. Oh, excuse me. We have already done this.
No, but that has to be created in Dominican Republic and with voodoo.
Listen, Jaba, you have a really warped sense of humor, which I quite like, actually.
Well, the thing is we are talking about serious subjects very much, also on our radio. But I think to give it to make it too serious, or what is happening serious, if we take it too serious, in the end we anyway die, you know. So why not make it fun out of it? And I think in a way of talk about serious issues and talk about it is the best way to not put credit on it.
Yeah, but, sorry to revert back to Braveheart, but it's almost where, the Mad Irishman comes along and to William Wallace, and, it's overwhelming odds. It's a huge mountain to climb, fundamentally changing, decades or centuries of mindsets. But, you're quite mad, aren't you? I?
Yeah, I am.
Jealous.
So...
Yes.
Well, I've come to the fucking right place then, haven't I, lad? I've come to the right fucking place. I don't have to fucking talk to God to have a decent conversation anymore.
He's not right in the head.
This is my fucking island. All of it, I tell you. All of it.
There's me thinking, Bob, I'm the only one that watched the movie about 1,000 times.
No, I didn't, Bob. I didn't watch it 1,000 times. I haven't got a television.
Well, you have a computer. You guys still can watch.
Braveheart, the shadow puppet performance.
So, guys, on a real serious note, I mean, I'm compelled to do something in Scotland. And I think Scotland, in invention terms, because of what came out of the industrial period, I think Scotland should be sort of conscious and compelled to do something to, you look at the discussions with Matt this evening to actually reverse that process, and get a reputation for being a country leading in that exemplary process to reverse it.
Mm-hmm.
It's with the content that's going out over the next 90 to 120 days, it's very much going to be, a scenario where politicians, countries, I have invitations to other countries, which I'm not at liberty to disclose just now. But, ideally, QU&ARK, I need 5.5 million people in Scotland to say, we don't want this here. And at the moment that they say they don't want it, not the politicians, but the people, then we'll take it to another country.
Yeah.
But I know when it goes to another country, if that did materialize, it will be a huge regret for Scotland as a whole with its entire population.
Yeah.
If you come to Spain and do it, and you let me grow weed, we can do it together.
Don't forget the aquaponics.
Oh yeah.
No. Scott, talk about aquaponics. So we will have to.
Nobody will have a problem with everything else that we do. Nobody's got an issue with that. And it's just some countries seem to think that cannabis is illegal, which is a bit odd.
Scott's girlfriend will also someday figure out that she made a mistake. That is a good one.
No, that was Matt that actually put that Jaba.
Oh, sorry.
I think I realized with most of my girlfriends that I made a mistake. That's why they're in the past tense.
All right.
Yeah, but you see, when they dump you and then you become a success, well, whoops.
Yeah, okay, guys. We have 1 minute left. I wish to thank Scott, Matt, and everybody who joined the discussion very much. And I really enjoyed it. 3 hours just passed like nothing.
Yeah, I did as well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, guys. And Scott, it's not because we are laughing about the subject we are talking about that we don't take it serious at all. I think it is a very important subject.
Yeah.
And I think there are many solutions out of it, how we're going to pay it and how we're going to finance it or how we're going to make it. That, for me, is not even a question, because I think if we want to have better tools, better stuff, we just have to make it. And that is the way to go. And like we make it out of cola bottle because we don't have enough money to buy the big tubes, and finally we even prefer it, and it's way more easy to do it.
The cola bottle.
Exactly. And that is the way to go. But life is simple, and the most important is that we have fun and that we are feeling good with what we do, and we stay inspired for what is to come. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Talk to you very soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Good night.
They said we could not do it. They said it wasn't possible. But we did it. We created a free radio station to bring the people together and spread an alternative message from the main